Hey guys, in this video, as promised, I'm going to give you a tutorial on how to go from Camel ustrasana to Urdhva Dhanurasana, so from Camel to wheel. It's a difficult transition, but it's a really fun transition if it's done right. If you have a pretty good wheel and a pretty good Camel, this should be a fairly straightforward tutorial. If you struggle with one of those, I'd probably say let's refine those poses before you take on this challenge. But a drill, if you're just interested in learning how to drop back from either Camel to wheel or from standing into wheel pose. Is come up onto your shins like you're setting up for Camel. And just tuck your toes. Take your hands to your hip points in front and lift your hip points up. Draw your lower ribs in. So you have one line from shoulders to hips to knees. And then hands to heart center. And then all you're going to do is just lean back as far as you can, keeping this straight. And then hips forward. Right? It's all quads and glutes right here in core. So slowly just continue to go back. Come all the way up. And just trying to go as far back and as forward as you can. Feeling the quads, core, back work, and then come up. If that was a lot for you, keep the toes tucked. This time, untuck the toes if you want to go a little bit further. It's gonna increase the demand or the intensity of this quite a bit. So lower ribs in, hands here, knees, hips, shoulders in line with each other, and then as slowly as you can, lean back, come all the way forward. You can just feel the quads just burn in here. And then come all the way back. And then slowly lean back and come forward. Sit back on your heels. Doing that is going to give you the control to go back and also more importantly to come back up to Camel or back up to your stand if you're working a regular drop back. What people think is I got to have a really deep back bend, which you do. You got to have a nice back bend. But you also need to figure out how I can get my quads to fire a lot. Because it is actually a lot of quads. So if you do that drill we just did, you felt quads were working like crazy. If you're practicing your Camel to wheel a lot, you're going to wake up the next day and go, why are my quads so sore? Right? Because you think it's a back bend. My back should be sore. The back will be fine. These quads are going to be sore for a couple days. Right? So the way to set up for it, you set up for Camel, same way. Right, knees over hips. But toes have to be tucked. If they're not tucked, if they're like this, you're not going to make it. Tuck the toes. Now Natasha's probably watching this video. Natasha is one of my students. She did this once like this. Haven't seen it before. Because what you need is you need the leverage of the toes, right? So Natasha's an outlier. Don't follow Natasha. Follow me. Tuck the toes. She follows me, by the way. She tucks her toes to do it now. But it's just a story, right? So from here, I take my hands to my heart center, right? Hips press forward. And then from here, I'm just going to lift my chest. Think like a pole vaulter. I'm going up and over, not just leaning back. So I'm going up. And then as soon as I see the floor, I extend the arms back. And then just like that lean back drill, once my hands hit or right before it, I press as much into my feet as possible. And then from here, walk the hands towards the feet. Press your knees forward. And then from here, it's just hips forward, hips forward, hips forward. Right, so that's all quads right there. Couple things, when you're going from Camel to wheel, you have to commit. It's not one of those things that you can go halfway through and go, oh, I don't want to do it. You'll fall, right? And it's also one of those things that you'll be surprised when you get your hands close to the floor or when they touch, how much you actually have to press into your legs to make it that transition work. You need to so by pressing into the feet, by using the quads to get the hips up, right, that lifts the knees and everything over. Otherwise, you're just collapsing backwards, right? So we'll do that again. So I tuck my toes, I press my hips forward. Hands to heart center, hips forward, hips up, and then I just slowly go back. When I see the floor, I extend the arms. And then when they're about to hit, I press as much as I can into my feet and I lift. And then to come back, walk my hands forward, knees forward, knees forward, knees forward, hips up, hips forward, hips forward, hips forward. And then I sit back. All right, so these Camel lean backs, great to help you drop to get the control to go back. Because what you don't want to do is just slam back, or slam forward. You want to develop control so you can just lightly touch the hands, press into your feet, get your hips up. I would say this transition is hard. It's not an easy transition. But I think it's an accessible transition for a lot of yoga practitioners. It's just you got to kind of get out of your own head and just say, I'm going to do it, right? And then you also have to know that I have to press my feet into the floor when my hands touch way more than I think, right? But so keys to setup: toes tucked, hips forward, chest up. Find this, and then when the hands are about to hit, I am just like I'm trying to get as much power in a jump as possible. When my hands hit, I got to at the same time just jam my feet into the floor to get my hips up. If the hips stay low, you're not going to make it. You're going to fall back. You need to press into your feet, get your hips up toward the ceiling, right? Think of it as if you tried to come into wheel, right? You tried to come into wheel, and all you did, right here, was just press into your hands. You can even try this. Just try, I'm just going to press into my hands and try to get my butt up toward the ceiling. Not there. What do you have to do? You have to press a lot into your feet. Same action when you're dropping back. It's not about the arms. It's about pressing the feet down, lifting the hips up. Now if you're working on, again, developing control, another drill that you can do is, and hopefully you can see it, is you get kind of close to a wall, and then all I'm going to do is just reach the arms forward and up, and then I'm just going to reach back, tap the wall, come back. Maybe I inch my knees a little bit further forward, and then I lean back, tap the wall, and come back. I'm not going to walk my hands down the wall. Walking my hands down the wall, while it can help you a little bit, it creates more bad habits than not, so then you're twisting in your back bends as you're lifting and not. What we're trying to do is move as one piece, forward and back. So what I would do is lean back, tap the wall. If you're comfortable there, take the knees a little bit further forward. Lean back, maybe tap a little bit lower on the wall, come back. Maybe walk the knees a little bit further until you're just working yourself back to one day thinking, I might be able to then touch the floor. And then just think, when you want to touch the floor, press your feet into the floor as much as you can. Okay? Try it out. Let me know. Leave some comments whether you're able to get it or not. Share with me on Instagram. I'll share your post. Tate Englund on Instagram. That's TateEnglund. It's in the show notes or in the video notes just below. Okay? Give it a try. Let me know what you think.